what's going on? My name's Liam fam. If you don't know me, I try to explain nerdy stuff, but in a cool way. So I'm a cool kid, but I'm gonna do all the nerdy research for you and read books and do that stuff, and then I'll just give you the information simply. And today, it's gonna be for those people who want to create content but want to get unique ideas, which are hard to come by if you're just going through your life without thinking about it. So, today I'm talking about the cerebral reducing valve theory from Aldous Huxley. And I'm going to make it simple and to the point, and let's get into it. This is how you can be really creative. Alright, so what does this fancy picture mean? So, on the left, this is our brain and our rational brain. Our rational brain is responsible for main survival activities. That would be eating, sleeping, and replicating. And overall, Huxley summarizes it as, he says, quote unquote, getting on in the world. So when the reducing valve is on, which is we're eating a bunch of food, we're going through our day-to-day life, we're busy, whatever. That reducing valve keeps us in this box, which you can see there's chemicals, there's shapes, there's all sorts of things, which is great. The rational thinking brain, it's very, very helpful. And we need it. But sometimes we want to do something creative, and that reducing valve makes that impossible. So if we're stuck in the day-to-day habits of just waking up, we do the same thing, we're going to output the same things. So for me, this is helpful because I'm trying to make YouTube videos that are interesting. I cannot rely on simple shit. I got to think outside the box. And this reducing valve, which is running pretty high when I'm doing regular stuff, going to school, doing the same things every single day, eating food all the time, the reducing valve is active. So the goal, if we want to get creative, is to lower the activity of the reducing valve. And there's a lot of ways to do that. First and foremost, you can do drugs. And I'm not advocating for that. I'm going to actually tell you ways that you can get around doing that. But every psychedelic experience has one thing in common, and this is not a scientific theory, but the reducing or lowering of the cerebral reduction valve is what we're talking about. That is when your brain goes into this creative state where it doesn't judge anything. You can see on the right, it's just splatter. That's where what we call the mind at large is available. That's where your greatest ideas are. And the book, The Doors of Perception, is Huxley's experience on something called mescaline, which comes from a cactus. But he actually talks a lot about how people ages ago utilized fasting as a spiritual practice. So what happens, the same thing happens when you go without food. Your brain is derived of sugar. So when we're constantly eating bread, candy, if you're really doing that, etc., your brain is running off of sugar, which it's less efficient at running off of. However, when you fast, your brain is basically lowered in efficiency as it relates to survival stuff. So those feelings of, oh, I need to be super good at work today, or I'm going to be stressed out, I need to get all my shit done, that is actually derived of your survival emotions. But the creative stuff is higher than that. And if you're constantly being blocked at this lower level of thinking, which is eat, sleep, replicate, those feelings, the anger, the sadness, those are all lower level emotions. And that's because the valve is reducing your ability to access something greater. And as I was saying, when you fast, the reducing valve goes off, and that's where you access all this stuff. So you could even go 24 hours without eating food and notice my brain is going places that it doesn't normally go to. It's doing things that it's not normally doing. And you can also do this. This happens when you lose sleep as well, which is weird. And I noticed that before I even knew anything about this reduction valve. I was like, shoot, when I'm tired, I'm less judgmental about my thoughts, and that's all it is. When we're in this mode, I'm sorry, it's a different angle now, but when we're in this mode, the left is where we get stuck. It's, oh, this makes sense. creativity does not have to make sense, right? And so sometimes it takes physical, bro, I'm switching between these. It takes, as Huxley calls, mortification of the body. So it's a punishment of the body that allows the mind to go somewhere greater. A spiritual practice was actually whipping themselves or being whipped, because the pain releases adrenaline and something called histamine. And so a lot of times I'm not saying whip yourself, but a lot of times things that are not easy actually are what take you to those creative places. Exercise can do it. Fasting can do it. I don't think you should lose sleep. I think really the best tool is fasting. I don't know. But I just wanted to record this to help myself learn this. And evidently, I don't know it that well, so this video is probably not that good. But it helped me learn it by making this. So hopefully maybe you understand the cerebral reducing valve after this video. If you liked it, subscribe.